All right, guys, I am extremely excited about this AMA. We've got a lot to cover in a short time, so we're just going to jump right in. So the first question is basically from somebody who was wondering about the whole like 2,700 times thing with GGT. Why do some people get 2,700 times their GGT eventually, and some people don't? Well, the short answer is, and I think I've covered this before, but um, just to give you another example, like that, the short answer is like the people that bought during the like the pre-sale, or the people that bought on Binance when the GGT supply, the total supply was 10 million. Those people will all get about 2,700 times, if I'm not mistaken. If my math is not wrong, and don't hold me to that, but that's about what you would get because we're moving to a 27 billion supply. So you'll get exactly the amount of the blockchain um, total supply than you would have had on the current 10 million total supply. So you won't lose any. Nothing's being lost. It's just being added into that, and that's just how it's working. But it's only those people. Like if you bought KNX, you're getting 1-to-1, like over that transfer to GGT, and it will just be a 1-to-1 transfer. If you bought recently on the buy side, that's just a 1-to-1. Like if it said like 10,000% bonus on the on your GRP transfer or GRP buy, then that's just 1-to-1. Okay, so the next question is about Great Foundation supply of GRP and GGT being counted towards the circulating supply, and the short answer to that is it's just not. Like CMC does not count any of ours, anything that we hold towards that circulating supply, so it's just considered as locked. Next question is somebody who's basically asking about like the Bitmart withdrawals for GRP, and that's a very valid question. Like we've got to, like we'll be getting with them on getting this withdrawals out so that everybody who's there and who has any GRP on the platform itself will get the new GRP that's being issued on the like the secondary chain and eventually the mainnet. So we'll get that all sorted out with them, and you'll be able to move that pretty quick. So then we have somebody who's asking basically about like the withdrawals on the buy side itself, and that is going to happen. And I mean, we've been working towards that, getting the smart contract done for that, for a little bit, and we should have something absolutely by the first of next week. We should be able to start making those payments. And so that the one thing that we are changing is, before it was an Ethereum address, we're going to be basically moving that and asking people for a Binance smart contract address. So basically, like a smart chain. So like basically Binance's like the BEP20 chain. We're going to be basically using that for this new chain model, and we want to make sure that we get get that for people. And then I mean you'll be using that new smart contract whenever you add it to whether it's Trust or any other wallet. And we'll go over that in detail. I'll do an absolute video on that, so that nobody's left behind and nobody has to wonder and nobody has to figure anything out, for sure. So then we have somebody who basically is asking about Grape being susceptible to layer 1 or 2 anti AI hacking, or basically, do we have anti AI hacking? That is a super easy question. I'm extremely paranoid about not just AI hacking. I think AI hacking is one thing that's not a big of a threat, as I do quantum hacking. So quantum is really where the next phase goes. like the only blockchains that, in my opinion, will survive past, I think, in the next 3 years are chains that are already thinking about quantum issues. And one of the big things that we did was we bought a quantum resistant encryption a while back, and I think I announced that for Apollo a while back. And it's one of those things that we're carrying forward, and we're actively working on and trying to improve. And I mean, that's just the main focus for ours. So I would say like anti-AI is like nothing, but anti-quantum is like where my mind's at, and that's way above the AI threat, in my opinion. And there's somebody who says like but same question. Okay, so KNX basically converted to GGT. Will it be 1-to-1? Yes, it will be 1-to-1. Um, and so another question came about that basically is about the the Grapes mainnet after launch undergoing various audits to prove like where the TPS is at. Do we have sharding? Is it quantum resistant? All that. Absolutely, we will absolutely in every stage do audits and have like with like Certec and all of the biggest companies will put the money into doing that. At the very beginning, so the first mainnet, and I need to explain this. The first mainnet is pretty simple. It's extremely powerful, but it's simple, and it will basically house and run the smart contracts. The second mainnet is really where the 1,000 transactions per second comes into play, and everybody will be able to create nodes. So that's like the short term, few months. It's a extremely powerful blockchain, but in reality, it's simpler than the next one, the next phase that's coming. But and in both cases, we'll definitely get audits, and that will definitely be something that we'll go forward with. So another question, and this is a good question, is are we planning on listing on a top 5 major exchange? And I would say like yes. Like I mean the whole goal and like the whole plan that we have is wrapped around getting on every major exchange. So yes. Now will we be on a top 5 major exchange on listing? No. I mean that's just not realistic. I mean you have to. I mean there's no way to do that right off the bat. And so but we will absolutely have an exchange or multiple exchanges that will cover all the major territories, and we'll be able to market and push people towards and get those out on listing day. So yeah, I mean that. But yes, we will absolutely. I mean, in my opinion, and like the plan is to be on every major exchange. Even in the short term after listing, but you've got to have that initial listing beforehand. So the second to last question is, does the team have control over our supply of the project? And I mean, yeah, that's a definite. We have absolute and total control, and not just that, but I mean, we have it's extremely tight as far as what things can be spent on. If there is anything, and we're in a place where we can really foster the growth more than anything. I mean, and things that are spent will be towards things like exchanges, where it's mandatory to spend, and like, gift towards, and also partnerships whenever it's necessary and that kind of thing. And the last question is, does Grape outperform Aster, Binance, or Binance's new coin, all that? I'm not sure what they mean by Binance's new coin, but what I can say is and the reason why I'm here is because I have never seen anything that can outperform Grape. And what I mean by that is there's nothing that I've ever seen that can take a simple user node and add 1,000 transactions per second. So if you even go to like some of the, like I would say like what people would consider the most powerful blockchains on the market, and I've been sent a few. Like one of the first things that I notice is off the bat, like there's 500,000 miners. Okay, well if there's 500,000 miners, I mean for us that could be I mean, that would be 500 million transactions per second, where they're like at 50 million. So with the same amount of people who are staking, mining, basically contributing to the system, we would be at an astronomically high level. So that's just where we're at. Um, and really, I mean, I go back to this every time I talk about GRP. There's just nothing that compares to the raw power, and that's why I'm here. That's why I want to push this thing. That's why I want to keep pushing this thing, and I'm super unbelievably excited about it. Um, now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video about the roadmap in and of itself. So I'm planning on launching that later today or at the latest tomorrow. So you'll be able to look forward to that. Until then, guys, we have something that is absolutely magnificent in the best crypto market I've ever seen in my entire life. Just hold on, keep watching Twitter, keep watching our YouTube. We are almost there. We're having the time of our lives getting there, and it is going to be extremely exciting. So that's it for this AMA. It's one of the actually shortest AMAs I've had in a while. I thought it would actually take a little bit longer, but it's we have a lot to look forward to. We've got everything, in my opinion, everything going for us to be a top 20 coin this next year. And I'll be working as hard as I possibly can. The team will be working as hard as they possibly can to get there. Until then, and until next week, and like I always say this, but just get your questions. If you have anything else, get them together, put them in the groups, and we'll compile those, and I can address those next week. So guys, just keep on keeping on, and we will get with you next week. All right, guys, thank you.